Today on Monkey Life, Alison and wildlife vet John are in Turkey to collect a young chimp previously stolen from the wild and kept as a pet.
I know. This is a big leap of faith. I know. Yeah, good girl.
And the trip reunites Alison with an old friend.
It's just nice to see that he's turned into quite a nice lad and is being looked after so well.
Plus, back at the park, it's sweet treat time for the stumpies. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Now we just have to get them loaded up in the van and we're back to Dorset. So far, so good.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 22 different species. The Sea of Marmara, an inland water situated entirely within the borders of Turkey. Alison and wildlife vet John Lewis have flown 1,500 miles to get here on a special rescue mission. They're heading 50 miles south of Istanbul to the Faruk Yalçın Zoo. A while ago, the zoo contacted Alison about a young female chimp in their care called Topish. She'd been brought into the country via the illegal black market trade and kept as a pet until the zoo stepped in to offer her a temporary home.
Here.
Alison is here to bring the chimp back to Monkey World, where she can live out her days with others of her own kind.
Topish is like quite a few other chimpanzees that I've been aware of over the years. She was smuggled from the wild. Our information is that she was actually sold by a Syrian animal dealer into the pet trade here in Turkey. So she was kept by a private family, which we've heard of before, and kept as a pet until she became a problem. She's been here for 2 to 3 years now, and long overdue for having a family of her own kind.
The Faruk Yalçın Zoo was set up 28 years ago and now cares for more than 3,000 animals, including some species under threat of extinction. They do have chimpanzees of their own, but unfortunately, they don't have the facilities or experience to introduce new chimps into an already established group. Because of this, Topish has been living on her own, although in the same ape house, so she has been able to see and hear other chimpanzees.
Oh, skinny girl.
Alison is keen to get her first good look at Topish, who, at around 8 years of age, is still a relatively young female.
I know. This is a big leap of faith. I know. Not, oh, you wanted to go for the eyes. Yeah, no, I'm not really on for that. Yeah, good girl. Beautiful young lady, a little bit smaller than sort of I could tell from the pictures. It's always hard to sort of judge and so on, but, you know, clearly desperate for attention, wants to engage, has had the attention and company of I don't know how many people here at the zoo, but, you know, like any of the chimpanzees, most important thing from them is companionship of their own kind. So, really, yeah, we need to get you back and doing all of this with the other chimps. Do I have something up my nose? Oh, you need to get right up in there. I know, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. We've got a long road ahead with her, but it's the right thing to do for her future. She's only young. She needs a family.
The initial meeting is going well, and wildlife vet John Lewis is also able to cast his eye over Topish. It will be his important and potentially difficult job to anaesthetize Topish in order for the team to get her safely into her transport box.
Whether we can hand inject her, I don't know. I mean, she looks as if she would be trainable because she lets the keepers scratch her when her arm is pushed against the frame or even her backside. So that would be possible, I'm sure, to hand inject her. But she's, yeah, nice calm little chimp, which for me, that's good.
John's main objective is to keep the move as stress-free as possible for the young chimp. A hand injection, rather than the more traumatic blowpipe method, is the best solution, and he's cautiously optimistic.
Does she get very emotional about things ever? Okay, so
No,
maybe she would take
maybe.
the injection.
Well, we can discuss it in there, but this is very promising.
And you're pinching.
Poking, finding muscle groups. Oh, there's a bit of bone.
Oh, good girl.
We'll see, we'll see. That's a good start, girl, isn't it? Yeah, let's try it. It's better than having a blowpipe.
The travel box to transport Topish back to the UK arrived in Turkey from Monkey World last week. But Alison still wants to check everything is secure for the long journey ahead.
No, rock solid. Feeling pretty happy with that.
Everything seems in order. Alison has another mission in mind at the zoo. She wants to see someone she first met almost 20 years ago. Back then, Alison and her late husband Jim were in Istanbul to help assist the authorities find and confiscate several baby chimpanzees, illegally smuggled from the wild and on sale in pet shops. Garrett was a very young chimp being offered for sale at a spice market. He was confiscated by the authorities. But instead of coming back to the park with Jim and Alison, he was placed in the care of the zoo. This is the first time she's seen him since.
This is just fantastic. I was sort of hopeful and wondering how Gareth and Romeo had fared in life because I hadn't really heard or known. I don't know. It's just nice to see that he's turned into quite a nice lad and is being looked after so well. At the same time, you have to balance it out with the tragedy that he should still be with his family group, hey? I know, you're a bit of a tough dude. You're a bit of a tough dude.
It's been a long but successful day. Tomorrow, Alison and John will return to spend more time with Topish in an attempt to gain her trust and help make the move back to Dorset as smooth as possible. Summer has well and truly arrived at the park, and over at Hananya's enclosure, the chimps are feeling the heat. The stifling temperatures have put the brakes on this normally energetic group. Everything is being conducted at a far slower pace. Even the morning patrol is a sedate affair, with leader Hananya having to pause to see where the rest of his troop have got to. The arrival of breakfast does liven things up a bit, for a while. High-ranking female Johnny grabs far more than her fair share of watermelon. But being at the top of the pecking order makes her confident no one will challenge her. Zeynep has definitely managed to get some of her 5 a day, leaving Hananya and Valerie with the leftovers. The intense heat is all too much for Shamak. He heads to the pond to quench his thirst. But there's one member who's not letting the temperature bother her, and that's 5-year-old Thelma. Even in the sweltering heat, she's still a bundle of energy. Cadging lifts off anyone happy to comply, and enticing the adults into full-on play sessions. Today, it's Arthur's turn, but he doesn't mind. He absolutely adores Thelma and takes the responsibility of caring for her very seriously. Hananya's number 2, Simon, joins in the fun. He's another who's assumed the role of Thelma's protector. And the relationship between all 3 is great to see. Thelma is growing up fast, and things will soon start to change for this young lady. But for now, she's making the most of being spoiled. The rest of the group are relaxing in whatever shade they can find. And eventually, even Thelma's energy levels run dry, and she takes time to rest and recharge. Alison and vet John Lewis are back at the Faruk Yalçın Zoo, 50 miles south of Istanbul in Turkey, following a successful first visit.
So, just coming in for day number 2 at the zoo, and today is John's veterinary day. We got to check out all of the gear and make sure everything's ready and see the chimps again.
They're here on a second visit to see young female chimp Topish, with the intention of taking her back to Monkey World. It's hoped she'll integrate into what was Paddy's group and finally be able to live with her own kind. 8-year-old Topish has been at the zoo for more than 2 years. She was handed over when her private owner, who kept her as a house pet, couldn't handle her anymore. She's fairly calm around people, so John is hoping she'll take an injection by hand when he has to anaesthetize her to put her in the travel box. But he's preparing for all eventualities.
That's blowpipe. What's your blowpipe like? Ah. And is she afraid of that?
No.
Really? I wonder why. Why wouldn't you be afraid of someone with a pipe like this?
Tomorrow morning, when we're going to move Topish, it's a really early morning start. So, you know, it'll be dark outside and everything, and we just want to make sure that all of the gear is ready, set, and proper, because there's, you know, a few procedures that John's going to do, and anesthetizing her is always a risky situation.
With the drugs and equipment checked and prepared ready for tomorrow's move, John wants to see how Topish will react when presented with a needle and syringe. It'll be far less stressful for her if she allows a hand injection rather than needing to be darted with a blowpipe.
We're in Chimp.
Yeah.
And then coming out. If she does that tomorrow and she doesn't react to the ketamine, we're in business. Good gal. Good gal.
It's very encouraging. Topish is calm and relaxed in human company. She's never lived with other chimps and has always been cared for by people, which might be the reason. Her new start at Monkey World in a large group of adult chimps will be a massive lifestyle change. Recently, she has been able to enjoy some interaction with other chimps. Her keeper and the zoo's vet Hilal have introduced her to 2 baby chimps being hand-reared at the zoo. Every few days, she's been able to play with them in the outside enclosure.
It's nice to see how Topish interacts and relates with people without any bars or cage situation. Also nice to see how she interacts and deals with the young chimpanzees. Now, there aren't any youngsters in Cindy's group right now, but it's just good to know that she's not terrified or frightened of chimpanzees, although adults might be a different story. But this is really nice and makes me feel a whole lot better, happier, and optimistic about the future for Topish and how she's going to fit into chimp society at Monkey World. So, really pleased. Good day.
For Hilal, saying goodbye is going to be a huge wrench, but she knows it's for the best.
I will feel very, very sad. I don't want to let her to go, but it's going to be better for her, only for her. I don't think myself. And if she stays here, she's not going to be happy.
Tomorrow is going to be a big day for everyone involved, but for Topish, it's the first day of the rest of her life. Back at the park's Stumpy enclosure, staff are preparing a seasonal afternoon meal for the 10 primates who make up the group. freshly picked corn on the cob, still on the stalk. So the primates will have to work just that little bit harder to get to it.
We've actually put quite a lot of corn out today. With the stumpies, there's a really strict hierarchy, and we just want to make sure that all the individuals get enough corn. So we've scattered it about through the whole enclosure. We've put some high, some low. They're not very good tree climbers, so that's why some of it's on the ground. And yeah, just to make sure that everyone, the high rankers and the low rankers, all get a shout out at the corn.
The majority of the stumpies don't rate as the most agile primates living at the park. To help with their mobility and keep the weight off, they're on a carefully controlled diet, so today's something of a treat. Sian is going to let out the two newest members of the group first, Freddie and Toto, both more mobile than the others.
They're the lowest ranking in the group. It's just going to give them a few extra minutes to eat the corn before the more dominants come out and join them. Come on then, Toto, you ready to enjoy some corn? Well done, boys. Go on then, Freddie, go and enjoy the corn.
Toto shows surprising agility as he bounces along one of the high poles, showing confidence when no one else is around. Freddie, though, has made a beeline for the corn and is getting stuck straight in. Since the pair arrived almost 2 years ago, it's been slow progress integrating them into this established group. Freddie has made more friends, but recently Toto has started to ingratiate himself more and more with some of the low rankers. He may look impressive, but underneath all that hair and fur, he needs a little help.
So just giving Toto some multi-milk. Even though he looks magnificent, under that coat he is still a little bit skinny. So we're just trying to fatten him up, get a few more extra calories on him, so he really does enjoy his multi-milk in the afternoon.
The rest of the group are let out, and immediately Toto keeps his distance from the more dominant members. He needn't have worried. All they're interested in is the food. Leader Sam makes short work of one stalk, while Sylvie and Kelly surround themselves with a mass of corn to tuck into. Flo makes full use of her cheek pouches, storing enough food for a snack later on. And even Toto is relaxed enough to eat near the rest of the group, although he keeps a watchful eye out. It's great to see Maureen tucking in too. She's recently recovered from a long and complicated dental procedure, which seems to have worked well.
She's recovering slowly but surely, and we're seeing some really good progress. She's starting to eat more, she's pouching on both sides, which is a really good indication that the operation has worked. So there still might be a few dental issues. We're keeping a close eye on her, but she was even outside today enjoying the corn scatter.
Jonathan and Flo finish off with a bit of grooming.
Grooming's a very good social occurrence with these guys. It makes you cement partnerships with both the high rankers and low rankers, so you really need to make friends to stay in with the group. So grooming is just one of the things that keeps these guys occupied throughout the day. It just removes any kind of like gnats or dust or particles or anything that's matted within the hair. So it's really good that they just keep each other tip-top condition.
The corn has gone down well with all the group, giving them an extra spring in their step for the afternoon ahead.
Good morning.
It's 4:30 in the morning Turkish time, and Alison and wildlife vet John Lewis have arrived at the Faruk Yalçın Zoo for the most important part of their trip so far. John is about to anaesthetise Chimp Topish, so that she can be put into her transport box ready for the long journey back to Dorset.
Right, I'm going to go and scratch a chimpanzee for a bit.
Okay, I'm gonna label a box.
Topish is awake, alert, and comfortable in John's company.
Good girl. Okay.
It's now or never.
Right. Hello, if we go and do the injection and see And if everybody else stays
yeah.
here,
John is going to attempt to anaesthetise Topish by hand injection. Training primates to accept this can take months.
now we want to get a good old scratch.
But Topish is very accepting of John.
Good old scratching going. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. We're good.
With the drug delivered, it's just a matter of waiting a few minutes for it to take effect. As soon as John is satisfied that she's under, he can get to work.
Yep.
And my bag, please.
Before Topish is put into her transport box, John wants to check her vital signs.
Right.
And he immediately notices there's a buildup of fluid in one of her air sacs.
So I think we will, A, speed this up as much as possible.
It doesn't signify too much cause for concern, but he's not taking any chances. He quickly continues with the checkup, taking blood samples for later analysis.
And surgical spirit on the swabs.
And performing a tuberculin test.
She should have a big red blob. That will go down very quickly.
Once he's satisfied, he gives the all clear for Topish to be placed into the travel box. The team must wait until the young chimp comes round from the anaesthetic in case John needs to step in. But Topish is fine, and now she can be loaded onto the van ready for the journey to Istanbul airport. Alison is pleased with how everything has gone.
She's looking good. She's a little bit drunk, which is exactly what we wanted her, nice and calm in the box. She's got blankets in there. I've got some food, so hopefully at the airport before we hand her over to customs, we can at least get one last look, give her a little bit of food and breakfast. And then next stop, UK.
There's a long day and a long journey ahead. But for Topish, it's the beginning of a new life, finally living with others of her own kind for the first time since being stolen from the wild. Next time on Monkey Life. Alison arrives back at the park with rescued chimpanzee Topish, and the team are there to greet her.
Hey, Topish. Hey, you. You're a good girl.
And Marmoset Freya shows she's well on the way to a full recovery.